What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another Bloom podcast. Today, we are greeted by guest and long-term friend Justin Coleman. I'm just super happy to have you on the pod, man.
Yeah,
We've rescheduled this like 3 or 4 times behind the scenes, but we're finally here. And if you're looking at Justin right now on his clip, or when you see his clip, we got an unreleased, as of the recording of this podcast, an unreleased mural behind him. And if you go on our Instagram, you'll see the full video of how we created that and us hitting 1,000 followers. So
big things for Bloom Creative.
Yeah, dude. It's been a crazy eventful week. It's been honestly a crazy fall. I feel like fall is a pretty nuts time for video production work, or at least in my, like, it seems like every October we get slammed.
Yeah, and then winter comes, right, and it gets a little dead.
Oh yeah, no, it gets dead in the winter, but that's totally chill. I mean, sometimes it's nice. Like, I used to stress out in the times of deadness, and now I try to just welcome them with open arms and be like, okay, that's fine. Let's just chill for a minute. Because when it gets crazy, it gets crazy.
So you even chill on the outreach, you chill, you get caught up on the editing. Like, is there anything you like to do in the dead season?
For me, I would say I used to be like catch up on the editing big time, right? And now I'd say I focus more even right now, as I know we're heading into that season, I'm teeing up things business-wise with like SEO agencies, Google Ads specialists, like just trying to get the ball rolling on some stuff like that. So then as soon as like November, December hits, we're like full speed ahead. I'm working with this SEO agency to like boost the website or do various things like that. So my role, it took me a while to like realize, but my role has definitely shifted from like shooting and editing to now it's like producing, finance, and business development.
Director too.
And selling, yeah. And director. I feel like I don't give that enough like.
You don't. You're a good director.
It's not like I feel like I direct like once every couple weeks or something. So it's like not like a huge thing. Like I'm definitely like doing sales every day. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, I'm happy to have you on. I want the people to learn a little bit about you. Tell me how you would describe yourself to an Uber driver. What do you do?
Yeah, man. I mean, if I get in the Uber car, in America, we do talk about our work a lot. And that's something I try to get a little bit away of. But the problem is I love talking to people and saying, hey, what are you excited about? And so for me, it's just, I'm so excited about video production. I'm so excited about editing and the DP work and Anderson Windows. I'm excited about my wife, excited about, my faith, my church, all these things. So typically, honestly, I like to figure out too, like what gets them going, like talking to the Uber driver saying, hey, like tell me about yourself. But yeah, my wife, my faith, what I do for work, like those are all things that I love. And I'm a DP. I mainly try to focus on camera lighting or like camera movement, as well as different lighting setups and trying to get that dialed in. I've been doing that for about 1.5 years, 2 years now. And like anything as Chase knows, it's a grind, and you got to try to get better every day. And when you're not, there's people, they're working when you're sleeping, and you just got to hustle.
Dude, that was the first thing we talked about today. And I feel like that's what gets me I get that like energy around you because I'm the same way. It's like, I think people come into this industry thinking it's like glamorous and it's like it's hard work. It's still freaking work. And I feel like you embrace that though. Like we talked earlier today, you're like, it's a grind, dude. It's not a joke. Like this is not a fairy tale lifestyle. And I think this industry as a whole does a very bad job of portraying this fairy tale lifestyle online, right?
Oh yeah.
Like if you look at my Instagram, it's like, oh, he's traveling, shooting videos, sitting by the beach. Like it's not always like that.
They don't see your 5 a.m. call times. You were up till 1 the night before.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like we're just good at, like, as filmmakers and photographers and stuff, we're really good at just making things look prettier and crazier than they are.
Like a job, or we don't have one.
Yeah. I can make the lake at the end of my dock, or the water at the end of my dock at the lake look bungalow blue. Yeah. And post it on my Instagram and be like,
oh yeah.
And everyone would be like, is that the color of your water? No, it's actually not.
No, it's all facade. But it is fun.
But no, that's what I love about you though, dude. I literally I think the grind is something that you embrace, and I think there's not a lot of creatives that do that.
Yeah. And that's what I appreciate about you too. Like when I met you, Chase, I knew you were somebody nose to the ground, grind, but you also know how to have a good attitude on set. your good energy, you're willing to help out. Like even if something isn't in your wheelhouse, you know, you will go the extra mile to make sure that people are excited to be there, have good energy, and like you said in your last episode of the pod, like you want to bring people in and make sure that they are grateful and happy about the work that they produced with you. So that's really admirable.
Yeah, no, I think that's huge. And top to bottom too. It's not just the client making them happy. It's like, who did we bring in to shoot? Who did we bring in to do lighting? Like, did they leave happy? Did the makeup artist leave with a smile on their face? Or did they think it was a horrible shoot and they like hated their life? So there's a lot to that. It's intense. So, but I want to get into this rapid fire segment. I think, you know, we've introduced you a little bit. I think the people have maybe got a little bit of feel for who you are, but the rapid fire segment, I've gotten a lot of feedback. Everyone's like, this is the segment that I love because it just tees up the guests really well. So tell me, Justin Coleman, where did you grow up?
Fridley, Minnesota, just right down the road, and went to Fridley Middle School, high school. That's, you know, nothing crazy, no private school or anything like that, but just got by.
Do you love Fridley?
I love Fridley.
Really?
So it gets a lot of hate. A lot of people, you know, like, oh, you're from Fridley, like, oh, kind of hood. But yeah, I loved it. I had so many friends and a lot of diversity. It's just a sweet place to be.
That's sweet, dude. I'm actually kind of I know nothing about Fridley besides they have a Topgolf there.
Yeah.
And I love your passion for the city. That's freaking awesome. You're a married man. How did you find your wife so early in life?
Yeah, I mean, actually, it was my senior year of college, and you know, I didn't know if you find the one in time, but we got to know her for a couple of years, built that friendship, fostered it, had a bunch of shared memories, and from there, just, you know, asked her out, put myself out there, spent like $300 on the first date. You know, my first date ever, and from there, like, we actually broke up a few times, and we were trying to figure out if it was right. She had some concerns about me being more entrepreneurial and not wanting necessarily some steady job at first and trying to build a business. But she came around and realized, you know what, like, Justin has a skill where if we need money, he can work a Saturday and make an extra $500 to $1,000. And she realized just, you know, the value that, not saying she only wants me because of money. She loves me for who I am and encourages me, and we make a great team.
But a life partner, valid, like a life partner, you need to make sure that that person is going to be able to provide and live and help fulfill half of the life that you're living too. I
mean, I feel like it's similar. With Bloom Creative, you're not going to bring someone in your business that you don't think is going to encourage you, support you, you know, be a value to your team. It's like, honestly, with a marriage partner, it's a similar thing. You want to make sure you're teeing up someone who's like, okay, they're going to encourage and support me. Like, when they're down, I can pick up their slack. When I'm down, they're going to pick me up.
Exactly.
You know, I'm sure that's the dynamic you kind of have here.
That is the dynamic I have here, and it's actually funny. How old are you?
I'm 27.
27. So 1 year ago, we were sitting at Blake's business breakfast, and I remember hearing that you were like a married man, and I remember I was like, this was like probably like a year and 3 months ago. I was like, wow, that is insane to get married that young. And here I am 1 year later, 24 and 25 at the end of next month. But that's like in the conversation for me now. So
Happy
it's like,
birthday, dude.
Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate it. But that's like, it's like crazy that like how fast life moves. Like 1 year can make, my life is so much different this year than it was last year. And I feel like I've said that like 5 years in a row. So it's funny. I like say like you got married at a young age, but I feel like if you found the one, there's never like a too young of an age. So, well, good, man. And we can dive into that a little bit more later, especially the entrepreneurial stuff. I have that on here. But what inspired you to start a career in filmmaking?
Yeah, I went to college. I initially was going at the University of St. Paul, and my initial major was actually ministry. And then I tried to switch it and angle it to just purely video production. But the school said, hey, you've already done 3 years here. If you want to, if you want to switch your major, you're going to have to be here another 2 years. I was like, you know what? I already took a couple gap years. I already started my video business. I kind of told them, I was like, hey, you know what? If you want me to come back for 2 years, I'm out. I'm just going to build a business. I don't need a degree. Kind of stood up, kind of played the game like, yeah, I'm ready to walk. And they're like, okay, wait. I sit back down and they're like, hey, just kind of keep it under wraps, take these 2 classes left, and then you can take whatever you want. And so at the end of the day, you got to think, college is a business. Yeah. They want your money. And they do want to provide you with quality education, hopefully.
I think it's slowly getting further away from that though.
Yeah.
And I'll be the first to say that, but yeah, okay.
No, yeah. And so basically I decided, I'm going to get that 4-year degree, but my last year I switched and took basically all film classes because I said, you know what, if I'm going to go to school, I want to be able to do something I had no idea how to do before. And I just knew I loved watching movies. I loved storytelling. And I knew picking up the camera, you can do that.
That's super cool. And I had no idea you went to school for ministry.
Yeah.
That is insane, dude. I didn't know you were such a faithful guy.
Yeah.
Honestly, like just figuring that out right now. So that's super.
I'm pretty trashy, so.
I don't know what you mean by that.
No, I'm just saying like you're a faithful guy. Like you would be, you just basically like, oh, had no idea you were your minister. It's like, yeah, no idea because I'm so terrible.
Oh, I
Just
got
make
you.
a joke.
Yeah.
You're good.
That's awesome. Well, dude, I think that's super cool. And it's funny. I love that story because you stand up and you put them on their heels. You're like ready to walk.
Yep.
Like when I dropped out of college, I did it via email. So like, it was just kind of like, that's it. And then I remember refreshing it for like the first 15 minutes after I sent it, like waiting for them to beg for me back. And they never did. They're just like, sounds good. You're unenrolled.
I'm curious what your experience with this and with playing hardball then, because have you been in like client meetings or pitches where you've been pitching to a business and they're trying to cut like your rate down or your budget down and you're basically like, hey, my minimum level of engagement is X. And you're basically like, yeah, I can't work with you unless you agree. And because you're willing to walk away, it almost raises that bar to where they give into your demands.
Yeah, I've had that. I actually had a recent project like that. I think the project, I mean, I'll say like the project was just below 5 and they wanted it just below 4. And then I was like, well, it's going to be just below 5. And it was like straight up in the meeting. I was really proud of myself because I just was like, I'm sorry, but like for what we're delivering, this is like, and it was only one video, but it was a lot of work. So it was like, we really couldn't cut deliverables down. And I basically just told them like, that's it. And then they immediately were like, yeah, we have a little bit of room in the budget and stuff. And then they ended up doing it. And then it was just never talked about again. But it was kind of funny because that stuff happens all the time.
Gotta play hardball.
I feel like, and it's not even hardball. It's just like having confidence in your rate. Like if you look at them with a serious face and you're just like, no, that is what this costs. Every one of my clients is paying that rate and I cannot make an exception for you. They're gonna be fine. Like as long as you truly believe it. If you don't truly believe it and you're like, I mean, we maybe could work something out, maybe like a couple hundred, don't even like give an inch because then it just gets crazy. And especially, I mean, some clients are worse than others. And sometimes you do feel like, this is kind of a lot for what they're getting, and then you try to add more value by cutting the video up into shorts or doing photos with it or something like that. Like sometimes that can add value. So, but that's awesome, dude. I love that story. And especially like, I mean, that's like entrepreneurial of yourself too, to like stand up and like.
Sometimes you just, you gotta do what you gotta do.
So did you graduate?
I did. So I did. And the only reason one of the reasons I guess that I did go back is they had a film festival. And so I knew it'd be a great opportunity to push myself, like grind out some short films, submit them to the film festival. And so I grinded out about 5 films for that next year. 3 made it in the film festival. No, none of them won. But I mean, that was my first year just trying. And I was 22.
3 films?
3 films, yeah.
Wow. All out of your own pocket?
I'd planned the whole thing, produced it, directed it, cam operated, edited, had some actors and storytelling, but.
That is crazy, dude. Wow.
Yeah.
I've never like really even produced any sort of like short film stuff. I've always wanted to do it. It just seems like the bigger Bloom gets, the more my life just becomes this and the less I want to do it on my free time, if I'm being honest. Like it's just like producing another video this year sounds like just so much. So.
Well, the nice thing with Bloom, and I know with you, is like you are actually drawing life from your work and it's exciting you versus like some of us videographers and filmmakers and DPs we'll do a bunch of paid corporate gigs and whatnot, but that doesn't like energize us. So that's why we go out and we do these short films. But with you, it's like you have that great energy where you're like, like this is awesome and I'm working with great people. And
yeah. And I think you have to understand that this industry isn't about like, you're never going to be in the video production or marketing space and be like, these are the clients I want to work with, and those are the only projects I take. You have to realize that. And I tell my team this too, because like sometimes we'll do some corporate recruiting video, right? And it's like kind of like, oh, we're doing a corporate recruiting video and like the vibes are low or whatever. And some people want to do it, some people don't. I'm excited about most projects, to be honest. But where I was going with this is you have to understand that you can't always pick and choose your projects. And sometimes you have to realize that these kind of projects make us money and they pay the bills. And these kind of projects fill our bucket. We love them. And they're our portfolio pieces.
Yes.
And a lot of companies, I just met with a company and they are that way with wedding films. They're like, our team understands that every Saturday, Sunday in the summer, we are filming wedding films. And then when we get a corporate client that has some awesome products and we get to market like a cool bike or something, we're going to do that. And like, that is, I think, super powerful. You just have to accept that.
Yeah. Does Bloom touch wedding films at all?
I've never done a wedding film in my life. Have you?
That was my bread and butter for when I started in 2020. And then 2021, I did like 42 in a year.
Really? 42?
A lot of double headers. I think one triple header.
Are you kidding, dude?
Had to pay some people to help me edit. It was nuts.
Dude, you do grind.
We try.
I feel like
we try.
42 wedding videos in a year. If you've done more than 42 wedding videos in a year, comment below because that is insane.
Yeah, I would love to talk about how you did it because it was.
I mean, you can say it, you don't have to say it, but what was the average price point of those wedding videos?
Oh yeah, I'd say it averaged out to about 2,500. So
A
we
piece?
made good
Bread.
money that year. Yeah, bread was nice. I mean, but then also like gas. Every wedding, I would give them all the raw footage, a wooden engraved wedding box, hard drive to USB. So like my cost almost per wedding was like $300 back between like the gas and that stuff and the mailing and all that. So yeah, I'd say it averaged out to about 22 to 2K profit per wedding.
That's pretty good.
Still solid.
Yeah, that's really solid. That's like, yeah, it's really not that bad. And one of what's crazy is you probably could have charged 5.
Oh, I could charge 5 and I could have done 20. And I would have made the same amount of money.
I know. You live and you learn, dude. You live and you learn. It's
That's
crazy.
true.
You kind of like, you get to these new rates sometimes, and that's kind of like your new baseline, I feel like. And you start to really like work your way up.
Yeah.
But the wedding industry is a little challenging, especially when you're starting out, if you don't have a big portfolio or things like that, or they're really shopping you or they're friends. Like there's a lot of nuances to the payment. You have various entrepreneurial journeys.
Yes, sir.
What ignites the fire in you to always want something new and want something bigger and growth minded?
I mean, in life, I feel like part of me is you meet older people now, and I'm 27. I still got hopefully a lot of life left. But you talk to people and you see people that they just either do the same thing their whole life, or they're almost like kind of bitter, or they're like people who they've walked earth so long and they're like, I don't really want to learn anything new. And I just never wanted to be like that. I want to be like, I'm always willing to learn, always willing to work hard, and just feeling like just being adaptable. Like technology is changing so fast, and I want to make sure like, with these new AI features, especially that come out, I don't ever want to be stuck in my ways to where I'm not going to learn something and take 2 hours to learn something that's going to save me like days worth of time, Yeah. So that's part of it. I think too, just the opportunity, meeting new people, the excitement, like building something from the ground up and then being like, yeah, we did this, we created that. Yeah. And now that's like in the market or that's out in the world. And so I think it's something fun. And it's a skill that is actually kind of rare, and a lot of people are trying to say they're entrepreneurs, but I don't know if you've had experience that, like people, and you meet someone,
it's a buzzword.
It's a buzzword, exactly.
And it's not. I think, it's pretty easy to decipher though, like a quick scroll through. Actually, Instagram can be deceiving, but a quick conversation with someone, you can understand like, okay, this person is really doing something, or like, I've been trying to start this company for 7 years. We're waiting on this and that. And you're like, okay, I don't really know if this guy's like an actual like entrepreneur, like at his heart, like can't sleep without it. But I think you said something there that like struck a chord with me. And it was like that kind of like same old, that like limited mindset of like, I could never start a video production company. I know nothing about cameras. Guess what? When I started Bloom, I knew nothing about cameras. Like knowing what I know now, knowing what I know about the industry, like I even remember landing like my first like decent budget project and doing no pre-production. And I had like 10 interviews that day, and I come in and I'm like, I can talk with people. I'm just going to like talk with people and like host these interviews. And it went horrible. Like the audio, like I was so underprepared just because I had no idea what I was doing. But it's those things that you have to understand. Like you live and you learn from. Like it's going to be fine. The company will be fine. Like everything's going to be fine. And that's the life though. That like mindset I think kills people. And that's what I think is like the opposite of being entrepreneurial, of being like, I don't know anything about this, so I could never do it, you know? And my response to that is always like, oh, and you could never learn either, right?
Yeah.
You know? And then they're like, wait, I can learn. And you're like, exactly. You could learn. You could figure this stuff out. And some industries are easier than others, but I genuinely think that you can learn basically anything online. I don't even think you need to go to school for all this. I didn't go to video production school at all.
Oh, school nowadays, it's kind of a scam, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you're like a doctor, or it depends obviously on your profession, but there's so many professions nowadays, you don't need a 4-year degree.
Yeah, so I would say majority.
Yeah.
I saw this thing yesterday on TikTok, and it said 92% of Americans graduate college with a 4-year degree. So if you've graduated college with a 4-year degree, congratulations. You're ahead of the bottom 8% or whatever. It's like, that means nothing. And that's not even, the bottom 8% might not even be worded right. It was basically something like stating like college doesn't even make sense, because if 92% of people are doing it, you're not special.
Oh, it's crazy.
Like on a job application, cool. If they're looking for a diploma, there's 92% of people have them.
Dude, if there's a guy who applied for, let's say, a video production company that I was working for, and they didn't have any degree, but their work was sick, it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, it doesn't. I do not look for, I mean, Devin and Caitlin both have degrees, but that was not a contributing factor to why they would have been hired or not. So kind of interesting, man. That's kind of interesting. I could go for hours on that.
I know. Are your two other people that work with Bloom, are they pretty entrepreneurial like yourself, or what is their mindset compared to yours?
Yeah, I would say that, they're pretty entrepreneurial, especially in the kind of like get up and go mindset. Like, Caitlin, just last week, we did a shoot. It was a Saturday shoot. I couldn't be there. I was like, hey, if you want $500, go do this thing. All you got to do is shoot and send the footage over. She did it. She took it. You know, she wanted that money. Go get that bread. Take it up. And that's what I love is like, I love getting those opportunities through Bloom that don't really make sense for Bloom to take them, but it's like $500 cam op opportunities. It's like, I'll just message my team, like who wants it. And Devin's pretty entrepreneurial. I would say entrepreneurial in the sense, like, he's very smart about like brand positioning and branding and stuff like that. And that's like gone a long ways. I would say both of them. It's a pretty entrepreneurial space here, I would just say in general. Like for 3 people to like do something new every day, like they never come to work and do the same thing because it's always like something random. Like Caitlin just did some website photo updates and stuff. Like that is just not what her role is, but it's like she's gonna step into it and give it her all. So tell me why music videos. And I know that like the brand, the Justin, the DP brand is changing a little bit, but why music videos?
Dude, yeah, for a while. I mean, it's kind of crazy you asked that because it's something for a while I've been struggling with. Like I love the creative outlet, but I'm actually taking a big step back in it. Mainly just have been working with my buddy Jay Zoll. He's a guy who won a TikTok competition before, got to go out to Florida, perform on stage with Logic. Really cool opportunity for him. And so I've done, I think, 8 or 9 of his videos. And then I've done so many one-offs. I think in the last year, 2022, I did about 40 music videos for just varying artists. Varied of different, like some free, some paid, some higher production, some lower production. But I mean, after doing 40, like my biggest one was 1,000. And I know I helped grow me, and I
$1,000?
$1,000.
That is crazy.
I know. And the thing is, like, the space in Minnesota too, like my buddy Henry Smizek, he went on tour.
He's a beast.
He's insane. If you guys don't know Henry Smizek, find his Instagram, check him out.
Dude, I've seen some of stuff get posted, and he's with Logic.
Yeah, he did Logic.
That video he did for Logic, I remember watching that. I was like laying in my bed, and I was like, dude, what in the hell was that edit? Dude, it's so crazy.
And dude, he gets, I mean, paid what, $2,500 to $3,000, but he spends days in the lair, in the dungeon, dude. And he loves it, but also it's wearing. And so the thing is, though, it's like to get to that level, the commitment and the grind. And I just found with myself, when it comes to editing, like an editor is such an important piece to music videos. Like obviously you can shoot it right. You want good lighting, you want good storytelling, but the editor is so important. And with me, it's like, and there's just so much art where I honestly am more of a technical guy. Like a DP is very technical. Like sure, there's a lot of creativity in it, but there is like different strategy with lighting and bouncing and diffusion that goes into that. And so with music videos, I'm just like, you know what? After a year, only making at most on a shoot like 1,000 take-home profit, and part of it is being in Minnesota. Like Henry, he's literally moving to California.
You need to.
Yeah, you need to. Or you need to go to Atlanta, or you need to go to New York or Texas.
Yeah, because you cannot tell me that if some rapper, artist of any kind hit it huge in Minnesota, they would be straight to New York, straight to LA, straight to Atlanta anyways.
Yeah, Casey Pluto, he went to New York, I believe.
Yeah.
Minnesota guy.
That's crazy. What about this though? So my dad, he's like this ideas guy, right? So like every time I see him, and we go to Vikings games. He has season tickets to the Vikings. He's got his business. He owns a landscaping business. Been super successful his whole life. And every time we meet up, he's always just like throwing some stuff at the wall, seeing what'll stick. And I feel like he's been a massive part of my entrepreneurial journey. But we're at the game last week, and he's like, I just got back from Nashville, dude. And if you did music videos for country artists in Nashville, they're lining the streets. You put like your studio on Broadway, and like every night there's some live performer like at the bar, and you can go and just listen to music, and then after go talk to these people, and you'd be like amazed. And I was like thinking, yeah, but music videos are hard, all this stuff, like music videos, this, that. And then I was kind of like, but some country music videos can be pretty simple. You know, you could set up a couple nice cameras in the woods and light it and just have them perform the song. So like you could really put those like anywhere from like, I mean, it's still like budget's not tiny, but like anywhere from like $5,000, $3,000 to $5,000, all the way up to like $100,000, $200,000, like however much they want to spend really. But I thought that was kind of interesting because I was like, everyone's running to these like the rap music video space, but like, I wonder if that country music video space is like kind of open.
I'm sure it's higher budget. I mean, a lot of those guys probably work full time, probably are like good jobs.
And less like cinematic, less like ASAP Rocky level like effects. Like the standard I think is a little bit lower in terms of like, not production value, but like editing complexity.
Yeah, you could flip an edit in a day.
Yeah, some of those like, I mean, and it's crazy too because country music is like on the rise. Like I think some of these country stars are making more than any other artists in the world.
Oh, dude, Morgan? Killing it right now.
Dude, it's crazy. But I don't know. So my dad brought that up to me, and it's got me thinking. Like, I don't know. I'm just like, it would be so crazy in like 10 years to tell people like, yeah, now I'm in Nashville just making music videos for like.
Yeah, you could. I mean, how I started out is I showed up to these open mics, and I would shoot photos and little video clips of these Minnesota music artists, and there'd be like 30 that would play at one show. So I'd take high quality professional photos of all of them, make them look like rock stars, make a video clip of all 30 of them, just a quick compilation, tag them all, and then they would flood my DMs, they'd share my video, a bunch of people would see me. I grew like in 3 months to 1,000 followers, and I was sitting at like 100, 200. And then from there, that's how I got a ton of work. I mean, they were still like not crazy budgets, like between $400 to $600, but I would shoot their videos in 2 hours, and I would try to get the edits done in about 3. And, you know, I try to do 2 a day sometimes. And, you know, like it was good money, but it was a hustle. And also like, you know, I want to make sure too, like now the quality needs to be there, and it's like shooting on a Red specifically is the camera that I found myself to use a good amount, and it takes like a while to set it up. It's a bit slower. You need to be more planned. Like the image quality is crazy, but it's not as run and gun.
Yeah. Dude, I had no idea that story. That's super crazy. You really have just been a hustler, self-starter, just out there, dude.
You gotta figure it out, dude.
And that is crazy too. You're shooting free music videos on a Red sometimes.
Sometimes, dude, to build a portfolio, you gotta do what you gotta do.
That's true. Gosh, that's crazy. So tell me, is that you own a Red? Is that like a lucrative thing for rentals, or is it kind of just like, I own a Red, it's great?
So it actually helped me get my job at Anderson Windows, which I work full time. I do a lot of freelance on the side when possible. And so, but Anderson Windows, there's a guy who rented my Red off ShareGrid. I have it on there for a really solid rate, just kind of matched to what the other rates are. And so if one's busy, somebody will come out and rent mine. I mean, it's basically, I've probably made about $2,000 off it in rentals, and to build it out, I've probably spent about 10 to 12 range. So like, it's slowly paying itself off, and it's still a pretty popular camera.
Yeah.
But I
mean, it's a Red Komodo V-Rep?
Red Komodo.
Okay.
So 6K quality. But yeah, this guy, he rented for me. I was, on time to deliver it to him, gave it to him, shook his hand, smiled, was there for pickup. And then he told me like, hey, dude, Justin, you've been really nice to me. I actually work at Anderson Windows down the road. But I'm leaving because me and my wife are moving. Like, but your stuff's cool. Like, you sent me, like, I saw on your Instagram, you had a couple good videos, and you're nice to me, so you should apply for this job. And I was like, well, I'll look what the salary's like, kind of see what the benefits are. Because I don't know, I was like, entrepreneurial. I was like, no, I have my business. Like, I don't know if I really want to work for the man, And I was like, I'll take an interview. Why not? And so I hopped on the phone, and they were saying like between 72 to 84 starting. And I was like, okay, like that's a breeze. And to get that on like just experience and to take, and two, like I still can do a lot of weddings on Saturday and Sunday if I want. I mean, I only do about 5 a year, but my rate is like 4K. So, and then I can still know in the evenings you can pick up a little work here and there. I was like, you know what? For this time of life that I'm going into, especially getting married, it just makes sense for now. And so I decided to pursue it. And after like 5 interviews and a couple months later, they offered me a position at a good starting rate, good benefits. And that's how I kind of fell into Anderson Windows. And it's because I had the Red Komodo, which is crazy to say because some people, they're like, bro, having a Red doesn't matter. Like, it's just name brand. There's a lot of people that get mad at it. A lot of people who are Red users love it. And there is that brand recognition. And genuinely because of it, I got hired at Anderson Windows.
That's crazy, dude. And what are you doing at Anderson Windows?
I do their video content, so a lot of promos of their new product launches. We focus a lot on this concept called Love Life You See. It's kind of like short form documentary storytelling of different homeowners and how their home is just a place for them to really live the life and see the life that they want and live it with their family. So it's been really cool to do these video shoots that also aren't just men installing windows, because that could get really old real fast.
Well, and you're creating at your job, and we talked about this before the podcast, is like, if you get a salaried position or you get like a job, like people are afraid to go and like they're a struggling freelancer, and just like you said, like I'm afraid to be like a W-2 employee and like have a salary. But if you think about it, you basically just landed your first retainer client. And now you have a retainer client that pays your bills, and now everything on top of that is bonus. And there's more benefits than that too, like health insurance or whatever else there may be, which is super beneficial, dude. So,
dude, anyone married out there, like, I don't know if any of y'all have looked into the price of having a kid in America at a hospital, even with health insurance, it can be as much as like $7,000.
That's insane. So, and I heard it's like 30 or something without.
With that, yeah. Yeah, you're cooked if you don't have health insurance.
That's crazy. That's crazy, dude. Well, that's super. I mean, and it sounds like you're having success there because, again, when we were at Blake's Business Breakfast a year ago, you were saying how you were just about to start that position.
Yeah, I mean, it was great meeting with you and Blake and chatting up with you guys. And actually, Landon he was there, and he's my financial advisor now. And he's actually, dude, I was always skeptical of financial advisors, but he's actually helped us like be really smart with our money. Yeah. And I always thought too, as a man, like there's almost kind of this like, I feel like this man vibe about money where it's like, oh, like I don't want someone else to tell me how to spend my money. But after listening to Landon, what he's been saying makes so much sense. And his whole job is money.
Yeah.
And so like he's helped me and my wife save a lot of money, save up, and we actually bought a condo. Now we have to look actually.
You did?
We did, yeah. But we actually have to look too financially. Like the HOA has just gone crazy high. It's like $600 a month.
Oh wow!
And so now we have to look to sell it quick, which he thought was a really good idea, and look to just rent for really cheap, and then we can save up and buy just a more established house. So just like the wisdom that he's provided us and the peace and also like just the retirement opportunity, like, I don't know. I was always super skeptical, but Landon,
you're all in,
bro,
dude.
I'm all in.
I
Landon,
can see your
shout out Landon.
energy. Shout out Landon Lancaster, dude. Wow, that's the first Landon Lancaster mention on this pod. Just puts a bright smile on my face. That's awesome.
You should have him on, maybe. You never know.
I would like to have Landon on. He's a tough guy to get a hold of these days, but I mean, he gets so many calls and stuff like that, and he doesn't manage my money, so
There you go.
so if I was a paying client, he'd probably answer a little bit more.
That's true.
No, but that's awesome. He's been one of my best friends, basically my whole life. Played hockey together, grew up together, and he's just always like the smartest kid. I never seen a kid get 4.0 in school and show up 2 days a week. I like couldn't even believe it. The kid's insane. But I wanted to talk a little bit about, and I feel like we're just getting through these rapid fire questions, but it feels like we're getting a lot of stuff. We're talking about a lot of stuff. I feel like we're covering a lot of topics, but I wanted to dive a little bit into entrepreneurship. I wanted to talk a little bit about you and the startup that you're part of right now, right? The hydration company.
Yep.
Tell me about that.
So I was working at Anderson on a shoot, and I was talking with this guy, E-Man. We're just kind of, just shooting the breeze and chatting up as coworkers as you kind of do. But my favorite question that I always go back to is like, hey, what are you excited about in life? And he was telling me about this drink company that him and his brother were looking into starting. And, I'm a pretty skeptical guy, especially like, I almost feel like entrepreneurs, we are typically so positive and have a really good like mindset and this like, yeah, we can do it attitude that we need to check ourselves and be like, okay, I don't want to get involved in too many things or like get involved in something that isn't going to work out because we're so positive,
Yeah.
I don't know if you've had a similar.
Like delusionally optimistic. You're just like, yeah, that's awesome. I'm all in. And then I've run into that before. I've been part of way too many things that I shouldn't have been a part of.
Yeah, dude, that's kind of part of it. So we're chatting it up, and he's like, yeah, like this is kind of what it is, and it's a beverage focused more on like healthy living, but also athletes and also esports, and just like there's no good esports beverage out there that's actually healthy for them to drink. And same honestly with athletes, where like Gatorade isn't actually good for you, Powerade's not. It's just a bunch of sugar. Vitamin water is 16 grams of sugar. Our beverage is like sweetened with monk fruit. It has 5 grams of organic cane. It's got like all these adaptogens, collagen, vitamins, minerals, Himalayan pink salt. Like this stuff it's a premium. You drink it. The taste is there too. That's the problem too, is like with the healthier Gatorade products too that I've tried, because
like
I always try
infusion or the Bai drinks. I think they're
Bai, and like Bai, honestly, Timberlake's drink is pretty solid, but it's just I haven't found something that's like a sports drink or hydration beverage that actually tastes good and leaves you also like feeling good. And so that's where after I tried the product, I told E-Man and his brother Brian, and I was like, yeah, like I'm all in. Like this thing is
love it, dude.
Sweet. And we've gotten some crazy good opportunities as of lately. Like we don't even know how these networking conversations come up, but just chatting with I can't, like, I'm not at liberty to say yet who these NBA players are, but we're talking with 2 NBA players, agents, and they've tried the drink and they want to sign on with X and be like kind of our face of X Hydration. They're sweet. Solid. Like you got their household names where people in Minnesota would know them.
That is sick.
If it happened, and that's the thing, the
optimism. You guys have 1,000 followers and no posts on Instagram. I saw.
We have like 3,000.
3,000. Yeah, I was like, wow. How does that even happen? I would
Brian
never.
And E-Man, just word of mouth, and we tease the product every now and then, every like a couple of weeks, and we don't really want when we post and we launch. The thing is, we need to launch right. Because with the beverage company too, it's highly competitive, and if you don't launch well, you can run out of money really fast. And our goal, though, our roadmap is eventually to sell. And the thing is, though, it's like, dude, vitamin water sold for like $7 bill, Powerade sold for $4 bill, Prime Hydration sold for $10 bill. We're not even looking at
Prime Hydration sold
$10 bill
Really?
Yeah, it's a Pepsi. I believe PepsiCo. Either Pepsi or Coke bought him for $10 billion.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, dude. It's Logan Paul. I mean,
that's
he's already
recently.
Yeah.
That's got to be like within the last couple of days.
Yeah, I think it was like a few months ago.
Oh, really? Okay, crazy.
That's okay though. And that's the thing where it's like I follow the space because I need to know what's realistic.
Yeah.
And so us, it's like if we can sell between 50 to 500 million, the percent that Ivan and company and these guys do, it's like we're chilling. Mm-hmm. And so that's where we're looking at business models. We're doing the extra research, our homework, and figuring out how can we launch well, how can this like actually succeed, and how can we sell. And we already even had 2 people come up and offer us to buy our company already. And it's like We haven't sold a bottle yet. We're releasing on like in October. We'll get our website finally like dialed in. It's just like getting Prime Shop set up, and we'll be selling on Amazon, and it's exciting, bro.
What are you doing for distribution? I know that that's a big struggle for people, especially as like things scale crazy.
Dude, yeah, and so we were looking into that. So Pepsi, Coke, the reason why they buy these companies is because they run their own distribution, and so they can do it dirt cheap. And so that's why if you can build a hydration or a beverage company up really high and get people to buy into it, the reason why Pepsi or Coke will come and buy you for like billions of dollars is because they then take everything you did and they can do it at their own facility for pennies, and they make stupid amounts of more money. And so for our distribution is we are going through California, this like area of where it's formulated. And the thing is, like, as we scale up and as we sell more bottles, it'll be cheaper to keep producing it. Because right now our cost is about $189 per bottle to make it. And then I think it's like 20 cents per bottle to ship it in bulk, where it's like, that's already $2. And we're selling our beverage about $2.99, and like in 4 packs or 12 packs a bit cheaper, and 24 packs a little cheaper.
So $1 a unit though.
Yeah, dude.
On singles, yeah. So you got to sell a ton. But I mean, it's not unheard of to sell 1 million bottles a month.
That's the thing is, we're not necessarily looking for profit. We're just looking like if we can just keep breaking even, making even a little more money, and keep reinvesting. The thing is, you're taking away from the market, and that's when the sharks get hungry and come and buy you.
Yep, exactly. Well, it's kind of crazy because I know a CBD company, started the CBD company, a friend of mine, branded the whole thing, and this dude is a wizard at branding. Branded the whole thing, made it look so good. The website looked so good. Set up the Shopify stores, set up the infrastructure, found a really good supplier. Never sold a single CBD product. Sold it for nowhere near like $1 billion, or I don't even think $1 million, but like just for basically putting a brand, packaging, and a website together.
Made $200,000 at least.
Yeah. I mean, to sell, I have no idea actually the actual numbers, but I know it wasn't like it wasn't like life-changing, forever generational wealth or anything. But it's like that's a quick clip. Like some people will do a brand and like not even like, I think he almost did it right by not even going into the distribution and not putting too much money out, more just putting his time and his effort and his expertise into brand, website, product development, things like that. And then someone else can order $1 million worth of product and try to sell it, you know?
Yeah.
The brand's there though, so it's
that's
crazy.
The thing. It's like, has Bloom done a lot of things with branding for clients and companies, or how does that work on your side? Because branding, it seems like, is almost this bread and butter, like almost integrated add-on nowadays, where it's like, you know, we kind of can do both, and we're gonna charge you more, but you're gonna love it.
Yeah. One, I would say videos are really, really good for branding.
Yeah.
Videos are like one of the best ways to like brand a business. I think we understand brand really well, but from like a design perspective, we don't create brands or don't do anything like that. I think where our strengths would be, and I always have this like fantasy of like buying like a boot company or buying like some sort of company that's like not marketed properly, like even like a clothing company that's like marketed like shit, but has like good suppliers, good this and that, and then like blowing up their content and like then just like running that company on the side and just using the infrastructure of Bloom to like grow that company. It seems like that would be super easy. But your question was about branding. We don't do we don't really do branding. We outsource it to actually our studio partners, Hagen Creative. They are like they made our whole brand and designed a bunch of stuff and just have been really, really good partners of ours. So
you guys like don't touch really web design much. So, okay.
We really just stick to the video production side of things. I think
Photos too though, right?
Photos too. So photos, if it's paired with video, we would never just do a just photo project. But I think I watched a lot of businesses scale like horizontally. And what I mean by that is like, okay, here's your video production, right? And then like this client wants a web design. This client wants ad management. This client wants social media management. Versus I would rather just be like, we do videos and we're going straight up with that service. And additionally, I even want to go down deeper and be like, not only do we do just videos, but we do just product videos. And then even a step deeper of saying, not only do we do just product videos, we do just fitness product videos. And then like, if you're a fitness product brand and you want the highest quality, you're going to call us because we're like, we only do that, you know, and they're prepared for that quote to be high as shit.
Yeah.
And they're prepared for us to be in their corner and like really want to be part of it. So I've just always believed in like the whole niching down thing. Doesn't mean I don't outsource like some design work and stuff like that, especially motion graphics. Like they're so good at it. They just will outsource those sometimes.
Oh, dude, to learn motion graphics to do it well, years. Takes
years. And I like watch him create something in like 5 minutes, and I'm like, that's just not even worth our team's time. Like it's just, I'd rather pay you, like than have a headache over it. And then like if the client has any edits, I just send them over to him.
Yeah,
it's pretty straightforward. But I don't know. It's crazy. I could not imagine doing like more than one thing too, because I already feel like running a video production company is hard.
Yeah.
It's so like not easy.
So you're talking about like niching down. Like, so is Bloom's future to niche down into that fitness space, hit that hard, and like working with like pro trainers, pro athletes? Like where are they going to fall into, do you think, in like 2 years?
Well, right now I would say we have a really good grip. We do a lot of, I would say, good fitness product things. Like I would say those are kind of our strength. But we haven't done enough product work yet to like really know. I would say right now, if I had to guess, I would say I could see us niching down into like outdoor products, which is what we have a spec project coming. It is going to be so good. We're going to the North Shore. It's fall. It's going to be like the most beautiful visuals you've ever seen. And we're basically trying to launch into that space a little bit. And then the fitness product space is really lucrative for us. We have a bunch of clients in that space that trust us and that we love working with. And it's fun because you can kind of get creative with like the fitness product space. You're generally working with like very like aesthetically pleasing models too, which makes the videos look really good. Things like that. And, you know, we've done everything from healthcare too, things like that too. So, but I think products for sure. All I can say right now is I think the products are where we want to be.
In clothing specifically, or?
We have a clothing client we're working with, starting up here soon. Which is going to be exciting. They want to do like a ton of content. So haven't done a lot of clothing though. Like I can't believe I haven't done clothing. I haven't done foods. I think food would be super fun. I would love to like shoot it in the studio and like a drink or beverage brand, dude.
Exaggeration.
But yeah, so like, I don't know. There's so many different avenues and ways you could go. And I think a lot of it depends on the skill set. And I think our team has the capabilities to edit at a really high level. Which makes me feel like we could do more than just like the corporate videos. But don't get it twisted. We still take the corporate videos these days. Like we still need revenue to build the business. And then hopefully once we get to a certain level, we can start saying no to projects that don't make as much sense. But right now, I mean, it's basically corporate and product.
Yeah. But I mean, you're not sleeping on quality. Like these corporate companies are hiring you because they know you guys do have the quality.
Oh, 100%. And that's what I tell corporate clients. I'm like, listen, this is our bread and butter. Yeah. And like, that is like, we can crush corporate videos. Like we can knock them out of the park. So I'm not even too like concerned about like doing corporate videos. I actually love them. Like, I think they're pretty relatively easy, like not a ton of pre-production, no location scouting, no models, no like this and that, like bouncing around, doing a bunch of stuff. Like it's pretty cut and dry. And we can make them really good for how much time we have to put into them.
Oh yeah. And I feel like the clients, they always love it. It's good to see the team members' faces in their videos, and it adds a lot of value to them.
The amount of times I've gone to a corporate project and it's like starts out really cold, and then by the end we're like hugging each other, like goodbye, see you later. It's like, it's so crazy. And actually our lighting guy, Spencer Clover, I feel like I bring Spencer up on every damn podcast, but he was like, dude, I cannot get over how like cold to hot these clients get when I'm on set with you. Like they start off cold, but then they love it at the end. So super, super awesome. Any other entrepreneurial journeys that you're working on right now, or is it pretty much just the hydration stuff?
I mean, still run a wedding company on the side and pick up little projects here and there, but then getting started in this company called Nervoso. It's a Minnesota-based snow plowing robot. So it's like a Roomba, but for your driveway.
Dude, this is awesome. What?
Yeah.
Okay, elaborate.
Okay, so the way it works is this guy named Max. He's a junior at the U of M, and he's been pitching since he was 16. Like, he'll go to these conferences and he'll pitch. Like, a couple weeks ago, me, Brian, and E-Man, these guys from X, were all looking at helping out this company because our bread and butter is kind of the branding side. Obviously, I do video, but like Brian knows how to trademark things, how to get the correct legal done. We have a lawyer on our team named Will. Like, it's pretty sweet. And so
holy crap,
we're trying to help Max out because his product is there's already been like 2 robots that are similar to what his does, but his is way cheaper to produce. And his go to market is about $3,500 compared to these guys that are like 50 grand or like 15 grand. And so Max is raising tons of funds right now and already has a company that if we can get the robot up to par, it can probably get bought out like relatively quick. And so the roadmap for that business is about like 3 to 7 years. But I mean, it's exciting. And it's like, I mean, we live in Minnesota, you know, it's like, imagine this little charging station that you plug into your garage and you just leave your garage door open and this robot is kind of sitting there. And then all of a sudden snow falls and a 1/4 inch hits and all of a sudden, boop, it goes out. It just keeps going back and forth, goes back to this charging station, waits a little bit, snow keeps going, boop, it goes back out. So that way you wake up, nothing on your driveway.
So it's not it's not like a commercial use. It's a personal use.
It's a personal use, but Max is already making connections with different like nursing homes and different schools, because schools and nursing homes, there's actually sometimes laws around them to where you need to have your sidewalks a certain level of clear. And the thing is, like, no one wants to shovel snow anymore. It's also kind of expensive. It can be unreliable if people don't show up. Yeah, and
crazy expensive. As soon as snow falls in this damn building, we got to pay this thing. It's called CAM.
Yeah.
And part of the rental is like CAM fees. And every time it snows, the plowing company's here, shoveling company's here. And last year we got pounded one month and the rent went up like $150. And I was like, what the hell?
Dude, so imagine you just have like 4 robots that are here and they just do it for you.
Yeah.
You know,
That's awesome.
It's a way cheaper thing. Like, sure, that the startup fee is a bit more to get these robots installed, but it's like after 2 years, these robots are paying for themselves.
Wow, they must be powerful and heavy.
They're pretty big. It's like, it's not actually Roomba size. That's kind of the concept. It's about like, if you were to stack probably 5 Roombas on top of each other and 2 wide. So,
oh, wow.
And
yeah.
you can also attach salt to the back of this robot, and that way you can plow and salt at the same time.
And it's electric.
Electric.
Wow, that's crazy.
Isn't it nuts?
Yeah, that's crazy. And, well, I feel like you could almost do like a commercial level, like sell it to cities and like hit like sidewalks and like hit every sidewalk in Excelsior or something.
And it used GPS and geolocation kind of tracking. So you just have it do the route once and you kind of go with it and then it's set. So
yeah,
that's very possible.
Yeah, that's crazy. So you maybe push it along, or how do you get it to know the route? It just,
I don't know all the details yet, just because Max is still like, he's only got one built and he's the only guy who can build it as well. And so that's where it's like, he's been working on this thing for, I think, 3 or 4 years now already.
And he was 17 when he started.
He was 16 when he started.
Oh.
So, dude, yeah. Some people are just built different.
Yeah. Well, dude, I love people that are like that, though. Like, that are like, he's dedicated 3 years to this, and he probably hasn't made any money. Probably costs him money at this point.
Yeah.
And, like, he's just all in. How do you get connected with all these, like, entrepreneurial-minded people?
It started with that conversation with E-Man where I said, hey, dude, what are you excited about? And that's where that has really become one of my favorite questions with anybody. And because it's like, who doesn't want to talk about something they're excited about? And how much more interesting, like when I get, Chase, when you're like, you're excited about something, that energy, boom, that's to me now. We're like pumped, you know?
Yeah. What are you excited about? That's such a good question. And it's such an easy, like they could go anywhere with that, you know? I'm excited because my best friend's getting married next weekend. Yeah. Okay, awesome.
How'd you meet him? Yeah. Like the questions you can lead in too.
Yeah. Yeah, you just got to dig deeper. I think people were like humanity's pretty surface level. It's like kind of sad, but also like, I think kind of just like human nature. Like people are trapped in their phones. People are really caught up in their jobs. They feel a little bit overwhelmed. They can't afford to take a week off and think it's kind of crazy that like just saying hi or just saying like, what are you excited about can go so far.
Yeah.
I'm gonna like make that my lock screen, and I'm just gonna be just, what are you excited about? I'm gonna ask 2 people a day.
Like, you'll be in these crazy startups in no time.
Yeah, that's funny. We're actually I love like really, really good conversation. And I was at a wedding last weekend, and I was telling Blake this too. Like we went down, and a few of my friends, we went down and sat on the couch, right? And sure enough, we're at this giant wedding party, so like a bunch of people come down. And I like level set with the room because like I didn't want a bunch of like small talk side conversations. I'm like, hey everyone, if you're coming down and you're sitting in this room, this is podcast style. It's one conversation, one person's talking at a time. we're basically just like talking about wherever the conversation takes us. Couple people left, couple people stayed, and it was like awesome. But it was like, that was like the kind of conversation I wanted to have, you know? And we were digging deeper, like, how does that make you feel? Like, what is that? And it was like, I don't know, that stuff gets me excited. I think like real conversation is kind of a lost art form.
It really is.
It's kind of crazy. And look at the opportunities it leads people to.
Yeah.
All you got to do is ask how you feel. Well, I could sit here for like 3-4 hours. I know that camera is probably getting low on SD card space, but I wanted to quick dive into your DP work. Can you break down, just for like the video production viewers out there, like what is a DP?
A DP, stands for director of photography. Basically, it's someone who specializes in lighting, in camera movement, and basically trying to generate the best image possible for an editor to work with.
Wow, that was a really clear and concise breakdown. But what always confused me, what in the heck, why do they call it director of photography if you're doing video?
I mean, if you think about it, like
images.
Well, back in the day, film is just 24 photos a second.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it was. I mean, at one point it was like 12 and 16, but I think that's probably the roots of where it came from, is where it is just when you make a video, you're just stacking photos.
Yeah. What makes someone a good DP?
I think it's really figuring out the story and how you want to tell the story with lighting and movement. Because like if someone is feeling alone and sad, you're going to probably want to use more like blue light, less lit, camera pulling back, making them feel small. You know, it's like small, or like have them on one side of the image to kind of create this feeling that they're trapped. And so there's like different nuances and things you can actually learn and do. And
something's wrong, crooked angle.
Yeah, crooked angle, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, like something, and I even like Dark Knight Rises, one of my favorite films. Or sorry, just The Dark Knight with Heath Ledger, one of my favorite films. And there's a scene where the Joker, it's supposed to feel super chaotic, and the whole time the camera's circling him, and it's circling him, and it creates this feeling of like tension and what's going to happen next, and is he going to blow someone up? You know, it's like there's just things and rules that you can follow, but you can also break. And I feel like good DPs, they know kind of what rules and what things are good, but then also they're really good at being creative and how to break them.
I love that. That's a really, really good answer. When I was doing research for this podcast, I was like coming up with these questions, and I was like pondering myself. I was like, what makes a good DP? And I've worked with only a handful of DPs. I don't have like a ton of experience, but I think like the DPs that I work best with are the DPs that I have like trust in from a director standpoint, and like we bounce ideas off of each other. It's not really one-sided, and it's very like collaborative. I think like there's a lot to be said about the relationship, I think, with DP to director.
Oh, in Hollywood,
huge.
there's so many directors that only use certain DPs, and like even in commercial projects, like I've met some directors that they're like, yeah, this guy Spencer, he's my DP every time, no matter what. Yeah,
that's crazy. Explain Spencer. What's the Spencer?
Suflo.
Okay, that's what
I was just throwing a name out.
I know, yeah. Well, he's
incredible
a top
DP.
tier DP.
Yep.
Top tier DP. Explain why just anyone can't. This question. I just thought this was funny. I was just like, explain why anyone can't just simply buy a red, change their Instagram handle to Chase the DP, and become a DP.
Yeah, I mean, you could. It might not work out, right? You know, but the thing
That's what I told Bo once. I was like, Bo, just buy a red, change your freaking Instagram to Bo the DP, and Bo could do it. Bo could do it.
A DP is someone like that role is typically a slower role. Like if you're a videographer, I'm thinking you're probably more run and gun. You got like a smaller setup, and you're doing probably more corporate videos or event recaps. Like when someone like labels himself DP, it's like, okay, you're probably working on short films, mini docs, commercial. You can DP music videos for sure, but they're gonna typically that phrase DP, like
you
DP's
understand lighting, you understand focus pulling, you understand emotion through the screen, like. You have to understand like the fundamentals, you know.
Yeah, and the thing is
composition.
Like, it's not for everyone. And honestly, there was a while when I stepped into it, I even was like, oh, I don't know if like, do I want to be a DP? But now it's like, okay, well, I actually realize the importance of it. And when you can work with a director who is like willing to, it's like more collaborative. You're like a guy named Sawyer Bryce. He's a crazy good director in Minnesota, pretty young, but like being on set with him and seeing how he works with his DPs and like me being around and helping out from time to time, like, I don't know, it really puts in perspective of a good DP and how much value they can provide to a video.
Yeah, Sawyer Bryce. I feel like I've heard that name. What makes him such a good director?
He is literally one of the most creative guys I know, where he can see a frame and he can just instantly know how to recreate it. And that's like a thing where I feel like when you get into videography, you'll see a video and you'll go, oh, I'm going to try to recreate that. And you're like, dude, my video just doesn't look like that. Like, how come?
Yeah.
But with Sawyer, he's just so good at getting inspo, adding his own creative twist, and then being able to like copy paste, but it's not really copy paste because it is his own style.
Yeah. And it's tough to gatekeep like a shot composition or something like that. Like, people don't notice those little things. Unless it's like the spinning Dark Knight shot. Then maybe you're like, okay, I've seen that before.
That's true.
How do you develop the skills to officially call yourself a DP? Like, let's say I am that videographer that's running around at corporate events, shooting corporate events. How do I like know when I like have the skill set to be like, I'm a DP?
I mean, at some point you just need to make that jump and claim it. You know, it's like you're a business owner, you own Chase Bloom, like that happened probably when you filed for your LLC. Maybe even before then, you're like, oh, like I'm already doing a bunch of stuff. I'm going to create Bloom. And then you do all that. It's like there comes a day and a point where you just need to decide, I'm making this decision and I need to go all in. And so with DP, it's like, hey, you're going to be more contract as well. Like you're going to be the type of guy where, I mean, Spencer, he DPs, but he also does a lot of producing because he realized like I need to like do all the pre-pro and I need to make sure like we have locations locked down and time and call sheets and all this stuff. And so like, if you can just be a DP, you're probably honestly in these bigger cities, but a lot of DPs as well, they also typically might fall in that producer role and help build out their just clientele as well.
I also feel like a lot of DPs edit.
Yeah. I mean, a good amount do. I feel like
they liked editing their own footage.
Because I think about like, it's your baby.
Yeah.
You know, like you just shot it, you made this super good frame, and then all of a sudden you just hand off and you never even see it.
It gets
like
ruined, yeah.
A lot of DPs, they'll make their own director's cuts.
Yeah, that's super, super cool. And the last question, how do you prepare for a shoot as a DP? So now like you're officially a DP, you're coming on like a large scale commercial shoot. How are you preparing? Are you doing anything specific?
Yeah,
Is it super easy?
It's not. I say it's not that easy. It's a lot of practice. So what you do is you look at the mood board. You make sure to get that. If there isn't one, you have one done. You say, what's the vibe we're going for? You need to figure out what lighting setups do we need to build. Like you look at the shots they're trying to create. Anything exterior, and during the day you're gonna need like 1200 Ds. You're gonna need like really big lights to try to get these looks you're going for. Like a lot of big diffusion sheets, like big negative fill sheets. It really the DP. For me, at least, it's looking at those mood boards and being like, okay, how can I recreate this shot? And knowing you see a shot, you see interior, exterior, you see time of day, and you go, okay, I know what exact equipment we're going to need to recreate that shot. And I feel like that's something I didn't even learn when I first coined DP. That's something I've learned along the way. It's like, oh, that's kind of what being a DP is too. Like you see a shot, you know how to get that lighting set up.
Yeah, that's me too. I feel like we coined the term DP before we should have coined the term DP here at Bloom. But that's like, it's crazy, you know. It's just like sometimes you just gotta claim it, like you said. Don't be afraid to claim it. But yeah, I mean, anything else? Like, what else? Any last thing? I guess words for the people, words for aspiring creators, filmmakers, anything?
I think the biggest thing is just start. And if you never start, there's gonna be like people ahead of you. I think it's okay to treat things as friendly competition, but also be willing to learn and being humble. I feel like the thing that sets a lot of creatives back is this kind of standoffish, non-collaborative, or just trying to gain something from other people. It really, when you're meeting people and you're creating, it should really be a collaborative effort because we're like, I mean, you build a team for a reason at Bloom. Mm-hmm. You're not able to do everything yourself. Hollywood movies, the credits are 3 minutes to 5 minutes long. Why? It's because you need help. And you can be an expert and you can do great things on your own, but if you're going to build the absolute best of the best quality, you're always going to need to bring someone on, and it's not a bad thing. It shouldn't be a hit at your ego. It's like, hey, I'm humbling myself, and also now I'm actually going to create some super sweet art because of it.
That was a realization for me. You know, I was like, I'm a good shooter, but there's better shooters than me. I'm a good editor, but there's better editors than me. And then I kind of like looked and I was like, I feel like I'm better than most at the video or at the business side
Yeah.
of this business. And it just so happens that that's the role I fell into. And this year is going to be the best year in Bloom history. And
Yeah.
it took a lot of ego to let go of that.
Dude,
you
but
know?
how blessed and how like grateful do you feel inside that you are blessed with that business skill? Because how many starving artists are there, you know?
That's true. That's true. I think that I don't know. I feel like if I could have one skill, that would probably be the one I'd want
Yep.
for my specific goals. You know,
Yep.
I think, but there's so many ways and routes you can take with other skill sets too. Like if I happen to be the best DP ever, I'd be like, how can I DP like the biggest movies? How can I DP the biggest commercials? How can I DP the next Jeep commercial? Like I would be thinking in that term of skills. Like how can I get on these sets versus me now that I'm on the business side of things, like how can I build this brand?
Yeah.
And that's basically my only focus. So it's been a wild ride, but
You have any last parting thoughts for the people?
dude, it's just the whole thing is what's making you excited right now, or what you said it best. Is it what are you excited about? What are you excited about? That whole thing stuck with me big time. Like I think that's super powerful, man. And I think I'll say this. Don't be afraid to say hi to people. Don't be afraid to ask people about their day. Ask people what they're excited about. I touched on it in another podcast, but I went to the state fair here, and we brought a camera, we brought a mic, and I just went up to people and interviewed people. And it was amazing just looking at like specifically like the young kids, like the looks on their face when a random person comes up and just says hi. It's like they can't even believe it's happening, you know? And it's like, I think people should just be more confident and just more open to people coming up and saying hi. So say hi, ask people how they're doing. Don't be afraid. And lastly, where do the people find you on social media?
Instagram, Justin the DP is perfect. I'm working on a rebrand launch of my website, just of my best pieces there. So that'll be out soon. And I mean, yeah, it's say hi. Feel free to say hi, shoot me a DM. I'd love to connect with you guys and ask you what you're excited about. So,
well, cool. Thanks for coming on, dude. And thank you, the viewers, for tuning in to another amazing Bloom podcast. I think it's like episode 15, 16. So see you guys in the next one. Peace.